So, if you've listened to the last few episodes, we've been talking about this June 1st deadline that we self inflicted upon ourselves. Mike has to complete and upload an app to the App Store by June 1st, and I have to complete a YouTube video and a painting by then. So, we've just been talking about how it's going and what that feels like. Uh, so, how's it going, Mike? Are you
Well,
ready? Because it is, what, 5 days away?
I think so. It's May
Yeah,
27th
five
right now.
days.
I it will happen if a few things don't go wrong. So it's sort of a maybe 50-50. I'm going to try really, really hard to make it happen. Uh, I'm kind of been like pushing back and forth with myself, like, man, if I just had one more week, I could do all these things and it would, be a lot less scary to release this. But at the same time, I know if I do that and I just don't actually respect the deadline for myself, then I'm just never going to respect the deadline for myself and that becomes meaningless. And then the next time it's just a fantasy to even do this. Anyway, yes, I think it'll be out by the first.
So, what are you actually building? I know you're working on an app, and you probably told me before, but I forget. So, what is it exactly?
We never talked about it on the podcast. It's not nearly interesting enough to be a secret, so we'll just talk about it. Um, so I had been working on my spaced repetition app for quite a while, and I'm still working on it, but part of this idea around this June 1st deadline was to pick a new project and try and just create it start to finish in about 2 months, maybe even a little bit less. I can't remember exactly when we started. And it's kind of built on the platform that I've constructed for the spaced repetition app. So it's not exactly like starting over, but in every other sense, it's blank screen to app that gets published and is hopefully functioning and working. So anyway, what I decided to do is build a diet tracking app in the vein of MyFitnessPal or MyNetDiary, that kind of thing. And this was actually an idea well before the spaced repetition app. I have always wanted to build this uh, because I've used all of the others. I've used Chronometer, I've used MacroFactor and MyFitnessPal and MyNetDiary. I've bounced between them all over the years. I've used a diet tracker since like 2009, 2010. I mean, basically since the iPhone came out. Not every day, but like I've used them off and on. It's just one of the main ways that I can kind of keep my diet in check. Um, and the reason why I want to build one so bad is because I've used all of them and I hate them. I think I won't say they're bad because like they function reasonably well, but they're just MyFitnessPal. I checked. MyFitnessPal costs $20 a month right now.
Oh, God.
$20 a month, which I don't even know how. It's almost $1 a day to subscribe to what is effectively a service that lets you like search for a food in a database. It kills me. I hate them. I feel like they have been sitting on this oligopoly and abusing people who are, invested enough to like try and improve their health. I just hate it. So I've for so long wanted to build one to see if I could do it in a totally different way, and make it really, really inexpensive. The current target is 1/10 the price of MyFitnessPal. And my fantasy is that it does really well and all these companies just shrivel up and die because they were so awful. That's my dream. That's what I'm building.
I like it. That sounds exciting.
Well,
I mean, it's not super interesting, but it is. I like your plan
no, it
of
is it
taking
is not an
over.
interesting
Yeah.
project. Well, there is something interesting about it, and I'll try to get like really into the nerdy weeds of it, but part of what I think could enable me to do something different is that I have been working on this architecture uh, called, I'm not sure what you would call it. I'm trying to build what they call a local first app. which is an application that doesn't rely on a server in order to do all of its business. So part of why these apps are expensive and part of why the pro subscription is so expensive is that when you use MyFitnessPal or any of the others, you're presented with this screen with a search box. You type in a food like potato salad, and it sends that little string of text off to a server, and that server connects to a database, and it queries this big database, and it goes and searches for potato salad. Then it takes all those results and it sends it back to you. And the thing is, servers are expensive. Like, that is something that MyFitnessPal has to pay for, and it has to be running all the time. And every time somebody searches for this food, they have to do this for you. They have to like go retrieve information with their server. So what that leads to is a situation where if you have a billion downloads of this app and there's a billion people using it for free and they're using it all the time, well, that's billions of requests every day that MyFitnessPal has to pay for. And if they're on a free account, they could just eat up as much server time as they want. So when you go to pay, you become a paying user. Now you're paying for this usage of the service and they unlock more things for you. But because the free users are using the same thing, the paid user is having to subsidize the free users. They have to make enough money off of the paid user to cover all the other people who are using it for free. It might be 10 to 1 or 100 to 1, I have no idea. So it has to be expensive on some level. I mean, I don't think it needs to be $20 a month, but they have to cover the cost of all the free users. And you'd think like, well, just make everybody paid and don't give the service away for free, but that just doesn't really work in the realm of apps. Like, people are just going to download something and try it for free, and if they like it, they might upgrade. So they're kind of stuck in this position. So I'm trying to build this in a totally different way, which is to make it a local first app where it contains all of the information that it needs on the device, and it doesn't rely on a server. Everything just happens just on the device itself. So I had to figure out, is it even possible to take all of this food data and get it small enough to where you could download it and put it on a device? I didn't know if it was going to be, many gigabytes or what. And then all the information that a user generates has to live on the device. When they search for a food, it has to go look it up. When they make an entry, it has to write that to the device. So I tried to see if I could build it this way. And at least so far, fingers crossed, it's working really well. I was able to get, about 5 million entries of food shrunk down to about 90 megabytes compressed in a database file, and had to do all kinds of stuff to make that happen. Anyway, I'm trying to do it in a fundamentally different way. And part of the plan, my kind of master plan here, is that because I'm doing it with this local first setup, and I'm using a type of data structure called a CRDT, which stands for conflict free replicated data type. You've heard me talk about that like in the past. But using that data structure makes it so that the app can create all these events and write everything itself. And then later, if the user, so this is going to be my payment model, I'm pretty sure, is you download it, you can use it for free, you can do whatever you want. Like, there's no limits in that sense. You can use it on one device, totally free, and it doesn't cost me anything either. So it never hurts me to have a bunch of free users. But if you want to use it on different devices, like via a website or via different phone or whatever, then you pay a small fee, and it enables synchronization. And this data structure, the CRDT thing, is able to basically connect these two devices, even if they've been disconnected since the beginning or one goes offline or whatever, and it can merge all the data and just very intelligently figure out how to keep all these different devices in sync. And so it doesn't really matter if it's offline for a while and back online, it all kind of works the same. Anyway, that's probably more detail than you wanted, but that's the big vision for this. That's the platform thing that I was using to try and build the spaced repetition app. And I'm using that same technique to try and build this diet tracking app. So the hope is that because of how I've built it, like all the way down to the absolute fundamental, how is data dealt with type of level, it will allow me to make something that is genuinely free if it's running on one device. And then a paid user, they pay, but they don't need to subsidize free users. So they can pay a much more moderate amount of money. That's the plan.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And that'll be ready in a week or 5 days, right?
Sure hope so.
Which means it needs to be ready in like 3 days, right? Because you have to upload it or submit it, right, to review, or what's going on there?
Yeah, that is true. And I've had to cut the features, like the closer I get to the deadline, the more features I like keep cutting out to try and make it actually happen. So there
Yeah.
won't be sync, there won't be much of anything besides just basic like recording foods, scanning barcodes, and that kind of thing. There's a very primitive way of seeing like the foods you've eaten in the past and stuff like that. So it's really stripped down. And the hope is that I can hopefully get it through the Google Play Store by then, because Google Play is a lot more lenient with their app reviews. It's pretty much like they scan for malware and then push it through. But I haven't, like, I need to create an LLC, so I got to register that with the state of Oregon. I got the forms, I haven't done it yet. Hopefully that just is quick, and then I register with the Google Play Store. My developer account with Google Play has gotten permanently closed, forever banned, because Google's insane. And apparently, if you register as a Google Play developer, which I did, which is under my email, and you don't do something with the account for like a year or however long, they just permanently close it and you cannot reopen it. Like, I didn't do anything bad, I just didn't do anything at all. They're like, okay, mikenew12@gmail.com, you are banished forever, and now I have to like have a different email address or something. So I got to figure that out. Anyway, that kind of falls into the category of those messy things that I'm not too sure about. But I'm hoping that I can get those things lined up and then have it out at least in the Play Store. The iOS App Store, it used to be awful for reviews. It used to take like up to 2 weeks. It's a lot faster now, but I think it probably won't be very fast if it's a brand new developer. So we'll have to see. Like, I'm kind of at their mercy. And Apple enjoys kind of jerking you around and saying, we don't like your name, or we want you to change this. Like, they seem to have a bit of a fetish for that. But we'll see.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you need to figure that stuff out because it's coming up quick.
Oh, I have this big list of stuff that I don't want to do but have to, and all of that is on there.
Yeah. Well, we did not come up with a big punishment to be scared of if we didn't succeed at this, which we probably should have.
I think
So
this permanent loss of faith in yourself is a punishment. I think that counts.
Yeah, just the shame and embarrassment of not finishing it.
Yeah,
should be enough.
Like I said, it could be out by then. I'm going to try and do everything I can to make that happen, but there are some things that are, I don't know what the timeline is going to be.
Well, it needs to be wrapped up by June 1st. So that's what the timeline is.
I will have. Yeah. All right. We'll see. We'll see. How are things going with you? We talked a little bit offline, and I asked you how you were doing, and you said bad. So that's all I've heard.
Very, very bad. Well, okay, where do I start? The YouTube, so I got the two projects, the YouTube video and the painting. The YouTube video is complete. I finished it today. So
Okay.
that's cool.
You're doing better than I am.
It is uploaded to YouTube and unlisted and ready to go. The painting I haven't touched. I have not touched since we talked about it.
Oh, goodness.
Since we came up with this. It has not been even touched. Actually, that's not true. I spent one day looking at it and thinking, okay, I want to change this and this. And I took this risk of, okay, I'm just going to erase it. So you grab the mineral spirits and wipe down the oil paint in these little areas. And I'm like, no, I'm going to make it better. So, you rip out some stuff and you're going to paint it and make it even better. I regretted that heavily the next day. It's like, wow, that was ambitious and kind of stupid. So really, it's gone backwards. It's gotten more incomplete since we talked.
So you erased some things since we talked.
Yeah. But, okay, let me go on just a short rant about why things are bad.
No, let's do it. Let's hear it.
Okay, so they're not related to art. or video. Well, second half is related to video editing, but I tore something in my shoulder. I think the labrum, or at least the doctor thinks the labrum, about a month and a half, 2 months ago. I was working out, doing some sort of overhead, military press, whatever thing.
Yeah.
And I was feeling great because I'd been working out, so much this year, and I was feeling awesome. So I was like, okay, I'll throw a little bit more weight on there. And I did it. And then afterwards I was like, God, it kind of hurts a little bit, but let's lower the weight and just do a few more. And I couldn't do it at all. It was like, oh, I have lost the ability to lift anything. Like it was really weird. It's like
Pain or just
yeah, pain, like to the point of, oh, you just can't do it. It's like it wasn't just, I don't know. I don't want to get into it too much, but it was really weird and hurt. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I'll just take, a week off of doing anything with my arm and I'll be fine. Well, I took a week off and then I took another week off and then I tried again with like really low weight. It hurt exactly the same amount as it did before.
yikes.
So anyway, I end up going to the doctor and he's like, yeah, take these corticosteroids and it'll probably go away and you'll be fine within a week. So I take them and it doesn't go away at all in a week. And he's like, yeah, you probably have a torn labrum. You're going to need an MRI to confirm. So I got the MRI like a week ago and I have to wait another 2 weeks. It's been like 2 months since this happened. I got to wait another 2 weeks before he can look at the MRI to tell me if I have officially torn my labrum and then figure out, some sort of a plan to get better. But basically, I've had to stop working out, arm stuff. So I can only really work on this stuff on the weekends, right? Like I work during the week and it's very, very difficult to get anything done during the week.
Mhm.
So my weekends are kind of like gold to me, So the other thing was, okay, I can't work on my arms. I'll do some squats and some deadlifts because the deadlift doesn't actually affect the range of motion that's damaged. So I do that
You
and
didn't like slip a disc or something, right?
I don't know what I did. So,
Oh my god.
I'm yeah, so I'm doing deadlifts like I have for years and I'm like, my back hurts a little bit, so I'm not taking any chances. I learned my lesson. I'm done. So I'm done. And then the next day it starts to hurt quite a bit. And then, it's just normal back pain that I've had before, whatever. And after a couple days, it, it almost goes away and I'm feeling fine. And then I'm doing the dishes of all things. And I lift like a plate out of the dishwasher and it's like I got struck by lightning. Like my entire back is just destroyed. And so usually when I'm trying to finish a painting, I take a few days off of work so I can really focus and just, work on it, which was my plan. So I took 4 days off, Thursday, Friday, a Monday, and a Tuesday. And I was going to spend all of those days, including the weekend, working on my painting because, it's getting close to the deadline, it needs to be worked on. The Thursday I take off, the first of my long week of intense work, is when I was doing the dishes and then it just destroyed my back. So I spent that entire time in bed because I couldn't move. I mean, I couldn't walk. It was so bad. I don't know what happened. I'm a bit better now. My back still hurts a bit, but yeah, so that ruined my entire plan to work on my painting. And then the week after that, I got because I'm also on the corticosteroids to help the shoulder. They suppress your immune system. And I got really, really sick. So that went another weekend and half a week. So, and there were a few other things as well. But basically every single weekend, as if it was like tactically, strategically destroyed by some sort of entity, has just been gone. So with that, it just felt like every time I started trying, something horrible went wrong. It really crushed my spirits. and then to mixed in with all of this, I was working on my YouTube video and I was hoping to have this wrapped up like last month, like 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I realized there's a couple things that I really wanted to redo. I just wanted to redo the intro, right, where I talk. And so I came up with all these ideas and I tried them all out. I spent entire days, like whole weekends. I don't remember the timeline on all this stuff, but I spent like entire days recording 30 seconds of footage of me talking, and then I tried to do like an end cap of the video with me talking, whatever. And every single thing I did was just ruined in some way. All from inexperience and just me being dumb, I guess. But like my mic was off. If I finally got the take right, my mic was off, or I finally got it right, and then like my AC, because I was doing this outside in my backyard, my like AC vent thing was on the whole time, ruined the audio, or it was just, I don't know. So every single thing that I did was just, it just sucked. And that also just kind of crushed me. And then by the end of it, I was like, I don't want to talk to a camera anymore, ever. And I'm just done. Like, I give up. And so it was just like, I don't know, everything just kind of crushed me. And so for the last, like, I don't know, week or two, I've just been feeling so done with everything. I'm like, I don't want to do art. I don't want to work on my painting. I don't want to make a video. I don't want to even think of this stuff. I don't want to talk about it. I don't care about June 1st. I don't care about anything. I just quit. Like, I'm just done with everything. Until today, and I was feeling pretty good, and I finished my video, and then now I feel kind of okay again. But like, I don't know why I feel the need to do this, but I can't stress enough like the feeling of just wanting to quit everything. I think some of it had to do with just this looming deadline, which was so inspiring at the beginning, if you remember me talking about that.
Oh yeah, you're the deadline guy.
Yeah. And then, the other part's just everything else. But yeah, I don't know. So that's what I mean by bad. It's not like, yeah, I don't know. But
that sounds bad.
Yeah, it's been bad. So I'm just kind of waiting for the next bad thing to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I finished the video, which made me feel much better. I decided to compromise on a few things. Well, I can't redo this, but I can add this, or I can do, whatever. So compromised, got it done. I'm pretty happy with it. But the painting, we'll see how that goes. I got 5 days.
Done in 5 days? I mean,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to talk about it. I kind of want to see if I can develop a way of finishing it in 5 days. It's not going to be, what it would be if I spent 3 months on it, but maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. Sometimes magical things happen during a crunch time, and sometimes they go horribly wrong. So I don't know which one it's going to be.
I really want you to try.
Oh, I thought at the beginning that I could work simultaneously on a video and a painting and just kind of bounce back and forth. I cannot do that. So I really had to wrap up this video in order to be able to let go and then think of the painting and only the painting.
That's fair.
So next 5 days, that's what I'll be working on. Yeah. So yes, I will try. I'm going to do everything I can to try. But I was also thinking, like, maybe I could just ask for a week, an extra week or whatever. But nope, we can't do that. So
no, we can't. Quick tip on the standing press. So a very common mistake. I'm not saying this is why or how you tore your labrum, maybe you tore your labrum, whatever. But
I just wish whatever you're about to tell me, you would have told me.
I wish you would have asked.
I wish I would have asked too. Go ahead.
A very common mistake that I see a lot with the standing press, doing it with barbell or dumbbells.
Yeah, a barbell.
Okay. Yeah. So this happens more so in the barbell, but people tend to kind of turn themselves into like a 2-dimensional character where your arms are in line with the plane of your body, and you kind of like push it up and down like this, almost like you're get your face pressed up against a window and you're like opening it and closing it, and you can feel it. Don't do it because you have a messed up labrum, but for anyone following along at home, just doing it with nothing, you can feel the shoulder impingement. You feel your shoulders not really feeling very good, like they're kind of grinding against tendons and whatnot, and that's because you should not do a standing press this way. You want to actually push your shoulders out, or push your elbows out in front of you, not quite straight, but like maybe 45 degrees off the plane of your body, And it's
Yeah.
you almost kind of imagine like you were trying to lift a big heavy table off the ground. Like if you had to crouch down and lift a table, you would put your arms under it and push up like this. Like that's more the motion that you want, where your shoulders are in this much more comfortable position. And I don't know if that's what you did or not, but I see it all the
Oh,
time, and I don't think you should go back
yeah.
to doing standing press anytime soon. But if you do, or anyone else does, avoid the shoulder impingement. Like push your elbows out a little bit, puff your chest, do this.
Yeah. No, that all sounds uh it accurately describes me. Yes. That's probably what I did.
Yeah, too late.
Yeah. But yeah, it sucks to I feel like I cannot work out at all. I mean, I know there's some things that I could definitely do, but I
Oh,
it's like I haven't been, and I can't, like, I'm afraid of hurting my back again. I'm afraid of hurting my arm even more, and it's like it sucks. Like it affects me
oh
mentally
yeah.
because I haven't worked out in like 2 months. I mean, I gathered up some courage and did some deadlifts and squats, and then that's when I hurt my back. And it's like, so I feel like I'm just wasting away, which definitely adds into the emotional.
Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, it's just, it doesn't help me mentally.
I mean, look, I
Um,
lose motivation for working out over way stupider things than that. So I totally get you.
yeah, and I also don't have like the, how do I get better? I don't know. I don't know how I get better. I don't even know what it is yet. So, but
Yeah.
enough of that. I was wondering about the emotional effect of the deadline, because we talked about it at the beginning, and now we're nearing the end, and I'm wondering if you have observed any sort of arc. I mean, there's some other stuff going on with me, but I can sort of
Yeah.
tell that some of it is imposed by the deadline or affected by the deadline. Um,
Yeah, I've had a good bit of time to reflect on deadlines. I will say, despite me being a little bit waffly about getting this on the first or not, I've taken it very, very seriously. I mean, have I've been averaging in the past 2 weeks somewhere around like 10 to 14-hour days on this. I do my day job, and then
wow.
it's this. Yeah, I mean, I've been going very hard. Waking up at 6:30 every morning, walking the dog. I've been trying to exercise. I've been doing a little bit of exercise in the morning, but actually the exercise has partly fallen by the wayside because of this, and that's not a great side effect, but I'm kind of hanging in there. I ran this morning for what it's worth. But anyway, I'm starting work by 7:30 or 8, and then I'm going until I've been trying to make myself stop by 9 or 9:30 at night, but some nights it's been later. I mean,
Nice.
it's just been I've been in a tunnel and not really thinking or doing really anything else. And it's actually been it started off really great. I was just feeling really good. I was really enjoying just throwing myself into something. The idea was new. It's something I'd thought about for a long time but never actually tried to do. I described the basic idea here, and so there was a lot of like, oh man, could this work? Is it possible? Can you query a 5 million entry database on a tiny phone? Is it fast enough? Whatever. I had all these ideas that I wasn't sure would work, and they pretty much have. And so that was very exciting. So I had this really nice arc at the start, but I did kind of get into burnout land a couple weeks ago. I was just not quite as bad as you. I didn't really have the external factors affecting me, but I was just tired, and I could feel my brain just kind of struggling to work. And so I hit a bit of a lull, and then I'm not really sure why, but kind of just came out of it and started feeling pretty good. And I've just been really uh, mindful of this deadline and just been throwing myself into it. So anyway, I've been going hard on this project, and it clearly is not sustainable in the long term. I can't work like this forever. Like I said, I'm pushing things off. I'm not exercising as much as I should and ignoring all kinds of other things. But it's been it actually has been really good for me. I feel like I kind of challenge myself in a way that I haven't really in a long time and put myself into a different situation. And I don't know if you've ever had this happen. Actually, you're probably in the middle of this and you haven't gotten to the end, but when you're in a position where you're working really hard, you're just in college and having to go super hard on school, or you're like have two jobs or whatever, and then something changes where you actually have free time, and even if it's not that much, you're like, oh my god, this is so nice. Like it just throttles back from super hard to not quite so hard, and you're like, oh, this is great, and it feels so much easier, even though it might still be a lot. I kind of feel like that might be where I'm at, where I was working a lot less and I would get tired and I've worked for 4 hours today. I'm tired. I gotta go play video games for the next 10 hours. And now I just feel like I've kind of hit this high water mark, and bringing that back sounds great. Like, man, if I only worked for 8 or 10 hours a day, I'd have all this free time and it'd be so easy. Like, anyway,
Right.
um, but like I said, I had that kind of low spot a few weeks ago, and it felt like the kind of thing that really could have kind of spiraled. And I've been pretty fortunate that I haven't hit any real major snags in life in the past couple months and in the project. Most of the hard problems have mostly been resolvable without anything like really awful happening. So I think I've been a bit lucky, and it does make me feel like this approach of putting a hard deadline and just really trying to throw everything into this short window, it's kind of dangerous in a way, or that's probably not the right word, but it's an intense experience. And I get the feeling like it's been very positive for me, but it easily could have been very negative too. And the much more conservative approach of just work a little bit every day and don't worry so much about timeline, just as long as you're showing up, as long as you're doing work, it's moving forward, that kind of thing. That is, you're not moving as fast and you're in a different frame of mind, but it's also like a lot safer in a way. I don't know what your thoughts on it though. I mean, you clearly had a different experience than I have so far.
Well, I don't know if it's all that different. I mean, yes, the road has been quite rocky, uh,
Yeah.
but the emotional side of like me with the video, I think I'm learning that my emotions just aren't accurate. I mean, I went through, at first I was so excited, I thought it was amazing. And then you look at it another day and you think, oh my God, everything's awful. It sucks. And I don't know what to do. And I don't know how to finish it, and I don't want to finish it. And it just sucks. And then you look at it another day and you think, oh, it's not that bad. It's fine. Let's just finish it. And then you try to finish it, or you try something new and it doesn't go well. So then you think you're a failure again or whatever. This makes me sound really dramatic, but it's kind of true. I mean, I went
Yeah.
through a lot of ups and downs. And yesterday I was feeling just stuck. And I actually gave up yesterday in the way that I told myself, you know what? It needs to be done. I don't want to try all that stuff I was going to try. I'm just capping it off right here, calling it done, uploading it, and I'm finished. And I'll just start the painting because it has to be done now. So that's what I did. Yesterday, I did the give up edit. Like I gave up. I finished it in a way that could be finished. And then I watched it this morning and I was thinking, come on, spend a couple hours. You can make it a little bit better. And then,
Yeah.
whatever. Like at that point, it was just kind of fun, like this morning. And then I added some stuff and I think it's way better. And I actually kind of like it now. And I like, now I'm kind of happy with it to call it done. But the emotions from yesterday to today were just black and white. Like, it's really weird. And to tie it back into the deadline thing, I think there's this, like, for the last month and a half, I have felt really bad towards it until today. And I think what happened is that I'm looking at this deadline approaching and it feels kind of far enough away to where I don't have to work on it right now. Like I keep, like, subconsciously I'm thinking, I can wrap it up in the 11th hour. Don't worry about it. And so I don't know. It's like there was no need to progress on it. There was no need. I mean, I worked on it here and there and had some failures and whatever. and some things that were fine, but it was. I think I just like the devil on my shoulders. Like, it's okay. You don't have to finish it just yet. Like, there's no need to really work on it. You can just touch it here and there, whatever. But then today and yesterday, I'm thinking, okay, no, it's 5 days away. Like, you have to finish it. You have to call it done. Like, now I'm in absolute crunch mode. Like, the sun is setting on this deadline and I can feel it now. Whereas before it was just midday. You got all day to do this. But the sun is setting now and I feel it. And so it sort of gave me the energy to wrap it up. And weirdly get over some of this emotional stuff that was kind of holding me back, like not wanting to do any more dialogue, but it really needed some more dialogue. So
yeah,
I don't know what my point is other than the deadline is playing games with my head, I think. And also, I really don't think I would be able to make a video like this one or my last one without the deadline. I just don't think I would do it quite like this, or like I just wouldn't have the drive to go out and record some new stuff or to really put in the hours of editing. So it's been torturous, but also I think it's pushing me to actually do stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, a couple of thoughts there. One, the deadline is you're right that there are things that you can kind of do under the deadline that you really just couldn't otherwise. And I've been working, like you said, a ton, working late, and I told Sam, early on, hey, I kind of set this challenge for myself. I really want to take it seriously. Going to try to have something released by the first. Daniel's doing the same thing. So I'm really going to be heads down and working on it. And I've told a few friends when they've asked me, hey, you want to hang out? I'm like, I'm working on my project. But it's a little bit, it's almost like you have to kind of believe in the deadline and give it its power, because if you don't,
Right.
you tell a friend like, oh, I set a deadline for myself, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay,
Whatever.
so you don't have to. If you had a work deadline, well, it's a work deadline. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to get fired if you don't meet the work deadline, which is just a deadline made up by some other person. It's not like, people die and buildings catch on fire if you don't get your whatever done by then. It's just a made up thing. So when you make it up yourself and try to apply the same logic to it, it's like a little harder. You have to kind of make believe a little bit. But I found that if I explain that I'm taking it very seriously and it's really important to me, that other people are like, okay, I get that. And, they're willing to believe in it too and go, okay, yeah, good luck. And man, that sounds really, really intense and whatever. And like with Sam, she's bought in, she gets it. She's like, oh, you're working late again? Okay. I mean, I haven't taken a day off in weeks. I've been working, 10 plus hours a day through weekends, everything. And I'm like, well, I got this deadline. So anyway, you can kind of like derive power from the deadline. It can justify things. It can let you behave in a way that I couldn't otherwise. If it was just a normal day and I said, oh, I'm going to work 14 hours a day. Like, why are you doing that?
Right.
And
yes, the believing in the power of the deadline. It helps that there's two of us.
Yeah, and that's, I'd like that too. Like the mutual deadline gives it extra power. Like it becomes even a little bit stronger.
Yeah. And I was thinking about that too, because, or comparing the absolute, like, your life ends if you don't meet this work deadline versus the self-imposed one, which is quite a lot more forgiving. And I don't necessarily like that so much. And I also feel like I go through the 5 stages of grief with the imposing deadline. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I remember all of them. But at first you're just sort of in denial, like, I'll get it done, whatever, or you just think you can do it. And then you get really angry halfway through and you think, ugh, I don't want to do this work, or I can't do this work, or deadlines are stupid, whatever. And then something else. And then you start bargaining. And this week was the first week of bargaining. In my head, I'm like, well, maybe we get like a week extension, maybe
Hmm.
because of all of this stuff, like I can push it back a week. It's not that big of a deal. Like it's okay, like one pin, it's whatever. No one's gonna yell at me. No one cares. And so I start, trying to get out of it that way. But you would never do that with a work deadline. You just have to finish it,
Right.
and that's what I want to keep with this one. But
I really think that's one of, there's many things like this, or there's many things that contribute to this, but that's one of the biggest things about trying to do your own projects, and why, by and large, people struggle so much more with doing something on their own than doing something for their job. I mean, think about how productive you are for your job. Well, not just you,
yeah,
but anyone. Like, we all do our jobs and we get a lot done, especially if you look back over years. Like, man, I've done a lot of stuff. And many of those things you may not have really cared about that much or felt super motivated. You're like, I got to do it. And so you do, and it gets done. And you would think, for my own stuff, I'm so much more excited. I care about it. It's this thing that and you don't do it. And it's
right.
puzzling in a way. And I think this is one of those things, is that it's because it's your own thing and your own boss, and you work on your own timeline, and there's never a time to get it done by. It's just whatever. And imagine if your job was that way. You never do anything.
Right.
Well,
Well, the job doesn't care how you feel. They don't care if you don't feel like doing it. I was talking to a friend about this exact thing because I'm working on my personal stuff at home, and my feelings affect that so much. But when I'm at work, it doesn't matter if I feel ready to work on it. It doesn't matter if I know what I'm doing next in the painting. I
right.
just start working on it because I have to and it must be done. So I
Hmm.
just work no matter what the feeling is. I come home, if I don't know what I'm doing, I don't touch it. If I don't feel ready to do it, I don't mess with it. And
Yeah.
it's like you think that's a good thing, and I maybe it is, I don't know, but it
Hmm.
often results in no work completed. So that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to take that mentality of work and place it on the stuff at home, but I don't know. It's not easy.
One of the things that I think has benefited me the most from this deadline is that I've been in this mindset of, I'm just going to spend all the time that I can. I'm not going to
Yeah.
worry about anything outside of that. I'm just going to try to pour all my time into it. If there's a day where I just genuinely, if the if I'm not pushing things forward at all, like if I'm so burned out that I'm just literally accomplishing nothing, or just doing work that's so bad that it's going to bring me backwards and I got to fix it later, then I'll stop. But otherwise, as long as forward progress is being made, I'm just going to pour my time into it. And obviously I can't do that forever, but that's fine. It's a sprint, it's a short-term thing. So I'm just going to do it. And that, like, kind of frees me of all those choices in a way, where I just think, today it's a holiday, so I'm not doing my day job. I just woke up and went to a coffee shop and went to work. And as soon as we're done with this and I do some podcast editing, I'm gonna work more until it's 9:30 or 10, and it's time to get ready for bed. Like, that's just what I'm going to do. There's no choice. There's no, oh, how do I feel? Do I feel like I could do this or that or
Right.
whatever? Am I feeling creative? Like, no, I'm just going to work on it. And the only real choices I make are, which piece of the to-do list do I go after? Like, if I'm just not feeling like I can do design, then I won't do the UI stuff and I'll work on technical issues, whatever. But it just, there's not much in the way of choices.
Right.
And that fixed a lot of that problem for me. Whereas if I wasn't working under this deadline, just doing it day to day, you do start to debate, like, well, do I want to? Am I in the right mindset? And then you get into that wishy-washy, probably not doing stuff type of mode.
Okay. Well, let's get you back to work and wrap this up. Can you do me a favor and just yell at me about the painting? Tell me how important it is that I get it done. I need to be yelled at about the painting.
I'm not going to yell at you. I'm going to do something worse. I
Hurt
want you
me.
to know that if you don't do this, I'm not going to take you seriously anymore. You're going to say, oh, I'm going to do this thing by this date. And I'm going to go, no, you're not. Because last time you said you were and you didn't. That'll just be you forever. And this is public, by the way. This is going out to the internet. And everyone else is going to think the same thing. Like, oh, Dan, he says things, but he doesn't do them.
Okay, I regret asking you to do that, but okay. Well, you too then.
Yeah, I know.
You said you'd have it uploaded on the App Store, any App Store, on June 1st. And so you have to figure out all the difficult stuff like the LLC or whatever and get it submitted, which means you need to finish it like tomorrow. Like tomorrow. So do that or you're a joke.
You're not wrong. All right, I will.
Okay, cool.
Okay, talk to you in a week. We'll see how it all shakes out. Is June 1st next Monday?
No, it's Saturday.
Oh,
yeah, it's Saturday.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know how dates work. Okay, well then I will talk to you Monday, and we will see how it went, and you will share your painting
And video.
and
If anything,
video,
I still get half credit.
I guess there is no half credits. There's either you did it or you didn't.
Well, I'm doing 2 projects and you're doing 1. So
You set the goal of these 2 things, so that's the goal.
Whatever. Okay. Yes, both things do. All 3 things do. On Saturday.
On Saturday.
So. Okay. Talk to you later.
Have fun.